Lamont Taylor. I've been a Hillcrest resident since 5th grade, a long time ago. I am an urban planner by profession, retired transportation planner, DBE officer, EEO officer, contract compliance officer. That's when I was for 39 years. For the next phase of my life, the next 20 years, time's flying for me, having fun. I have been with Hillcrest Residents Association as a vice president, and also became a member of Texas Campaign for the Environment, also working with Citizens Alliance for Fairness and Progress, and various other boards and organizations, but those three are my mainstays where I'm in fighting for environmental justice. So that's a little bit about me, and I guess what makes me get up in the morning is besides seeing the refinery stacks blowing and soot on my car from the particulates that's falling out of the air, and they're saying that nothing is happening, but my car is telling me something is happening, so I know something is happening. Just look at the windshield of my car, and I know that something has been happening overnight, all right, in my neighborhood. And so I started thinking about what we could do actively about it, in the city of Corpus Christi decided to get two bites at the apple. First, by putting Highway 37 in my neighborhood when I was a kid, not knowing anything about it, and then the second time with the Harbor Bridge. But prior to that, they wanted to put a wastewater treatment plant in my neighborhood as well. So they've been trying to dump on my neighborhood for as long as I've been over there. So now that brings me to, I guess, HRA. I started in HRA, I would imagine, once I left Community Action Agency. I was on the board of Community Action Agency, and several gentlemen in the neighborhood, I remember Mr. J. Preston Pullum, and they had this organization where they wanted to keep Hillcrest beautiful. And so they had an opportunity to go and talk to our neighbors who were the refineries at that particular time. It was Southwest Refinery at the time, before Citco and before Flint Hills with Southwest became, and Valero came on the scene. But so we just knocked on their doors and let them know that we're here and we'd like to work with them, and little bit knowing that they were polluting our air, but they wanted to be my friend. I didn't know anything about that until later in the evolution of HRA, when we start looking at what the city of Corpus Christi was doing to us by being complicit with the refineries and letting them do a lot of things because they were outside of the city limits. So individuals, being an urban planner, I knew that outside of city limits, they didn't have to abide by the ordinances of the city limits because the county has no ordinances, so they could do whatever they want to do, but it's right next to a neighborhood where people lived. So we started fighting, or let's say opposing the actions of the refineries at that particular time, and also the city of Corpus Christi, who've started the project we call it benign neglect, neglecting the area and the neighborhood in which we lived. And it just so happened to be a concentration of Hispanics and African Americans. And so we got in, since I was a civil rights officer with the RTA at the time, I knew a little bit of Title VI, Title VII, and the Civil Rights Act. So by that particular time, I think it was turned to Clay's environmental justice came about, I'm thinking, in the Clinton administration, if my history serves me correct. But it didn't become widely known until, I guess, this part of the 21st century. And then, lo and behold, we had a department under the Civil Rights of environmental justice. So Um, After that had taken wings and people learned to walk and fly, we started talking to cities about um, what they're doing to the environment and how that environment is in, injustice is hurting people, and in our particular case, citizens of Hillcrest. And so, um, when the city had the opportunity to try to do a wastewater treatment plant, we did Title VI against the city of Corpus Christi. We won that particular issue. They didn't put the wastewater treatment plant in our area. Then they decided to do a harbor bridge. We went in and with Earth Justice and people at UT and fought against them and slowed down that cog of them just steamrolling over those citizens that live on the north side. And the last one that HRA is working on is the Title VI that we have against the city of Corpus Christi regarding the desalination plant, what they're trying to impose upon the city of Corpus Christi. Now, there's two parts to that particular issue that I need to explain. The first part about this injustice is that it's going to wipe out an African American community. That's bad, real bad. But what really is bad is that the outfall of this desalination plant is going to kill the Bay of Corpus Christi. That's has detrimental impact that's going to have economic and social impact on the city of Corpus Christi for years to come. Because the more salinity that's in that bay, a lot of things will die from various creatures that we don't know that exist will be definitely non-existent. And the things that we do know that will not come in the channel again. I was telling someone earlier that little kids will never see a dolphin following a ship coming into the bay because of the salinity that's going to be in that bay. And those are the things that we're fighting, HRA is fighting right now with TCQ and the state of Texas, with the state of Texas, as well as the city of Corpus Christi. So those are the type things that we're doing right now. And the next is making sure that everyone wants clean water. Everyone that I know wants clean water. That's only logical. But the problem is the city has not, in the governmental entity, is not looking at logic. They're looking at trying to fulfill a contract that they have with refineries that they're bringing into the city of Corpus Christi. And that's, they're not thinking about people, they're thinking about profit. Coming into HRA, fighting in that fight, I found out that there are other individuals who at another level have been fighting these injustices also, and it's been a statewide issue. So I happened across individuals that had asked me to be a part of the Texas Campaign for the Environment. So found a group of people who are dedicated to making sure that we have clean air, we have clean water, and that our land is not polluted. I don't think that America, state of Texas, and then America can do without clean water and clean air. As you noticed, as you would note, that everywhere we have, people are in the state of Texas right now are talking about water. Water is the lifeblood of the 21st century in the state of Texas because there's lack of it. The issue that they're facing, which they're not cognizant of, is that when they find this water, everyone wants it. And but is it clean? And then how do we refine it or purify it so that we do not harm the environment with whatever effort that we do to purify this water. For instance, desalination. The city of Corpus Christi needs water. But the way they're going about it is they're trying to take the brine out of the water and dump it back into the water. They're taking the salt out of the water and dumping it back into the bay. So yes, they have gotten cleaner water. However, they have destroyed the environment along the way. So Texas Campaign for the Environment is helping Texans realize that there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And if we would communicate one with another, we would come to a solution of what is the best way for Texans, for the United States, for the county that we live in, New Oasis, in the city that we live in, to do clean, affordable water, effective where it does not harm or impact the environment. And when I say the environment, I'm talking about the species of fish, birds, whatever that makes nature up, because when there's an imbalance, it's a cascading effect. It's going to affect a lot more things. So we need to start thinking about how we're going to refine this product called water and making sure that it does not have a negative impact on our climate. What's going to happen is that local citizens are going to have to become aware of their surroundings. Remember, as kids, my parents and grandparents used to protect me and show me what's good and what is around our environment. I think now that in the 21st century and now beyond, no one is showing or explaining the cause and effect that's going to happen. For instance, let's take clean air. With the refining from petrochemical industry, greenhouse gases, etc., they're polluting the air so much. California has had hazes and brownouts. Texas is going to have, when it's doing all this fracking, that they're going to have more earthquakes because they're going to hit quakes and what have you. So we're going to have unstable land. Yes, a big state, but that doesn't mean you can't have an earthquake. As a matter of fact, there's a fault line going, if you're going towards Robstown, you're going towards Awadousa, you'll see there's a fault line going that way because of the earth imbalance. We need to know these things. So as we're trying to get more petrochemicals in the area, or we're doing drilling for oil, or if we're producing more pollutants to go into the air. I told you earlier about the particulates that are falling on my car in the morning, and I'm living in Hillcrest. Just think about those individuals from the downtown area when the soil, when the brine comes and the red tide comes to the bay of Corpus Christi, and then you're going to have this air pollutant that's coming across Leopards, that's going to be coming down Corpus Christi to the east. Downtown is going to be in the middle of this bowl, and I foresee that you're going to have the stench from the red tide, and then the particulates that are coming on to from the refinery. But we're still after profit. The city of Corpus Christi is still after profit and not caring what happened to the people. And you're going to see, you remember the COVID areas when everybody wore masks? You're not going to be wearing masks because of COVID. You're going to be wearing masks because, hey, you can't breathe. And that's what I see going to be the hardship if we do not get this information out to the public, or what can happen to them if you do not take care of the air and the water in Corpus Christi. Provide as much public education as we can. I mean, even if we have to run PSAs telling about water levels, if we have to run PSAs telling you about the particulates that are in the air, if we have, the organization have to do that, because yeah, it may be on the Weather Channel and you look at this particular app and you look at that particular app, but the masses are not going to be looking at that. They're not going to look at the science. They're going to get impacted by the science. So we need to bring that science in their living room floor, right? When they're watching television or on their game sets or whatever, have these PSAs come up and letting them know, oh, reason why Johnny has asthma is because, hey, the particulate level is above normal and he needs to be careful when he or she goes outside. Someone needs to tell that particular story that isn't being told. I take all the victories in stride, and it makes me smile when I know, as I say, when I found TCE, that we're not alone, that everyone is breathing and wanting to breathe clean air and drink clean water. Everyone wants that. And as we as a collective come together and fight for those causes and have an impact and have people change their mind, because it was smooth sailing when the city thought that they were just going to go through and get freezing nickels and go with their report, but funny thing happened on the way to the desalination store. People started waking up and checking to see whether or not what they were saying is correct, and they finding out that, hey, wait a minute, some of this isn't right. B, the next one is A. Okay, it's not right. Then let's see. The city is still going forward, and they're complaining that they spent $15 million, and they spent $15 million versus $850 million. We can save the taxpayer some money if we do it correctly. And the best thing that I know that has happened is that people are waking up and thinking and asking questions, and that's causing the council to pause and ask questions. And then the other reason I know we're winning is because they're fighting back viciously, and they're fighting back immorally, all right? And they know what I mean by that. So we're winning, and I can smile about that.